So we are leaving the Home 2 Suites in Huntsville, Texas this morning. We're going to take off, hit the road. Hopefully we don't have to make too many stops. The biggest one's going to be trying to figure out how to maneuver around this parking lot. It's always something you have to think about when you got a long trailer, mainly because there's a big slope coming into the parking lot and leaving the parking lot on both sides. This truck is absolutely beautiful. My favorite truck I've ever owned, in front of the most heavy-duty trailer I've ever owned. If you didn't watch the original video, we went out to Texas Pride Trailers for their new branding reveal, which is that right there. That is really, really cool. They basically made it really clear in a big presentation, where a lot of trailer manufacturers are trying to go super light, which is cool. I mean, I understand why. They decided to add more steel to make it stronger. And I guess folks who own RVs that are like, you know what, the frames on RVs are built terribly lightweight, and yeah, they do what they're supposed to do, but they have a higher likelihood of failing, or they eventually do fail, would probably appreciate the fact that they use a 26 pounds per every 1 foot. That is absolutely crazy. And it's a 14-inch I-beam. Anyways, this is an absolutely gorgeous trailer. It's got Hutch suspension on the back. It's got hydraulic landing gear. It's got the ratchet straps built in, built to be able to carry or have a gross vehicle weight rating of 30,000 pounds, even though we had it derated to 25,000 pounds. It's got the mammoth ramp, super easy to fold out and fold in. 15,000 pound axles on the back. It's bridged underneath. This thing is an absolute beast. All LED lighting that they included down the side, and it's a collaboration unit, so they actually provided this to me because of all the other units that I purchased from them, and the fact that, you know, my YouTube channel has been really good to get the word out on this product, because they're a growing company. They're not as big as some of these big companies that you might see. They're still growing. They're still trying to get the name out and let people know that Texas Pride builds a really, really awesome trailer. Anyways, we're gonna hit the road and get home. Okay, so we have the Texas Pride trailer in tow. We stopped by Love's real quick just so I could top off on diesel and def. I had to make an adjustment to a camera because I want to show you guys what that Gen Y Spartan coupler on the back looks like. Right now with empty load, roughly 2,500 to 2,600 pounds of pin weight. I got a camera recording that, which I'll overlay as well. And we are going to take off, and I should be able to get some pretty good footage. I mounted the camera, which is that magnetic wireless camera that I showed y'all. I mounted that actually on one of my puck mounts because it's steel. It's one of the few steel items you'll see back there that is stable and will continue to hold on regardless of how we're driving. And it should be interesting to see how that Gen Y hitch is operating. We're actually not too far from getting home. We're only about 40 minutes away. We are now on the road. I can honestly tell you though that the way the truck's been riding with that coupler has been really smooth. I don't know if it's the coupler or not, but what we can see in the video is what that looks like. And if there's a lot of movement there, then it does obviously mean that the coupler is helping and it's reducing some of the shock from the truck to the trailer and the trailer to the truck. But again, right now we have an empty trailer and we kind of dialed in the pin weight. Or sorry, you have to dial in the right amount of pin weight to really get this thing to work well. So this thing goes all the way up to 4,500 pounds, so we're like a little less than halfway there. And I can imagine we will definitely see some movement there if we go over heavier bumps. But right now at roughly 2,500 to 2,600 pounds worth of pin weight resting on it, shouldn't move too much, honestly. If it moves too much, that means when we do finally load this thing up, it's going to have a lot of movement, and what we don't want to do is we don't want to overload it. So right now it should probably just have a relatively small, maybe not even perceptibly noticeable amount of movement whenever we hit bumps. But overall the truck's driving really, really well. I have a good friend with me who chose to make the trip up there with me and assist me with some of the camera shots and some really good ideas. And he's been tagging along, and one of the questions he asked when we took off before we picked up the trailer was, is the truck going to ride better once we load it in the back? Because any way you slice it, this is a dually. It's got really firm rear suspension, and you know you're going to feel that firmness because the springs just aren't going to move very much, right? They're not going to move a tremendous amount when 5,500 pounds worth of cargo capacity, which is about 1,000 pounds more than my previous red F450. So that's really nice, which means they were able to somehow reduce the weight of the truck by a significant amount to be able to give me that cargo capacity back, given the fact that it has the same 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. So again, roughly 5,400, 5,500 of those pounds are meant for cargo capacity. That means the dry weight of this truck, or the curb weight of this truck, is roughly 8,600 pounds, which gives us that 5,400-ish pounds worth of cargo capacity. And we're utilizing about, let's just say, 700 to 1,000 pounds with the bumper plus the toolbox and the stuff I have back there, and then an additional roughly 400 pounds for us being inside of the truck, and the rest is going to be cargo capacity. The driving experience has been absolutely great. I've been looking in the rearview mirrors, and the trailer is tracking beautifully. I'm not feeling any weird vibration. I'm not feeling anything strange. It feels like I'm normally driving the truck. It actually almost feels as if I don't have the trailer hooked up to the back right now. So, this trailer, again, was built to a 30,000 pound GVWR rating, even though we derated it to 25,000 pounds. So we basically took 5,000 pounds off of that GVWR. Your GVWR is the gross vehicle weight rating assigned to a trailer by the manufacturer of the trailer, basically stating that this trailer is designed to have a total weight of 30,000 pounds. So when you subtract, again, let's say it's 7,000 pounds worth of cargo or trailer weight from that, it leaves 23,000 pounds of cargo capacity. If the trailer weighs 10,000 pounds, then it leaves 20,000 pounds of cargo capacity, which it might actually be closer to that 10,000 pound mark. I'm hitting some of these bumps so we can pick it up on the camera if you're wondering. But because we derated it, again, let's assume, just for hypothetical reasons, that the trailer weighs 10,000 pounds empty. Then that means we have 15,000 pounds worth of cargo capacity with a 25,000 pound derated GVWR. So if the trailer is designed and built to be able to support up to 30,000 pounds total, trailer weight as well as whatever you're loading in the back, we have basically knocked off roughly 5,000 of those pounds, and it reduces the cargo capacity by 5,000 pounds. So now, again, we probably have roughly 15,000 pounds worth of cargo capacity. And some people are going to be like, well, why did you do that? Why didn't you just get a 25,000 pound GVWR trailer and have it right there? Well, again, I like things overbuilt, and when we were talking about this trailer, they were like, you know what, yes, it's gonna increase the dry weight of the trailer, the empty weight of the trailer, by probably about 1,000 pounds to have it as a 30,000 pound build, because the extra material, reinforcement, and strength of the trailer to be able to support all the way up to a 30,000 pound GVWR. But now, in essence, what you have is an extremely overbuilt 25,000 pound trailer, or 25,000 pound GVWR trailer. So even though you only have 15,000 pounds, or 5,000 less than the 30,000 pound build design, you have a tremendous amount of overbuiltness in the trailer's manufacturing. So basically, again, it's like getting something just overbuilt. That's all it is. It's not trying to skirt a regulation. It's not trying to get around any type of compliance or anything like that. It's basically just saying, I realize my trailer is heavier, but it's heavier because it's overbuilt, and I still don't plan on carrying over the 25,000 pound rating that was assigned to it. So I know I've spent a lot of time talking about it, but every single time I talk about this topic, there's people that have a strange opinion of why you would do that. So a lot of people do that with dump trailers, like we did with ours. We're never going to overload. It's always full of brush. We really don't load it full of dirt or aggregate or concrete or things that really, really, really are tremendously heavy. On our property, it's almost universally just going to be loaded with brush, or loaded with tree limbs, or loaded with grass, or loaded with, not really grass, but leaves and things like that. We have a lot of stuff we put in there. It's just not that terribly heavy. If we were going to load it up with dirt, if you guys saw the torture test video we did on a Texas Pride trailer, where we literally put like nearly 32,000 pounds of material in a trailer that was designed to carry 20,000 pounds total. Actually, it was only designed to carry like 12,000 pounds if you include the weight of the trailer. We showed you how quickly dirt adds up in terms of weight. And we don't do that. I don't move that much dirt. I move a lot of debris, a lot of trash, a lot of stuff like that. At the end of the day, my dump trailer, when it's fully loaded, usually probably weighs, I'm going to say, maybe maybe about 10,000 pounds, maybe about 12,000 pounds, and again, maybe 5,000 to 7,000 pounds of that actually being the material in the back, the rest of it being the weight of the trailer itself. On this one, the most I'll ever really carry would be maybe the mini excavator. So the mini excavator weighs about, let's just say 10,500, 11,000 pounds, well under that 15,000 pound mark. And my tractor weighs like 4,000 pounds, actually less than that, like 3,500 pounds. So even with my tractor and excavator on it, it's going to be well under what the trailer was built to carry and under what the trailer is rated to carry. Okay, so we are back. I'm going to tell you that this was a pretty dang terrific towing experience. It actually felt very similar to whenever we're hauling the Brookstone. Rightfully so, because they both utilize the goose ball. This trailer, as it sits, probably weighs about half as much as the Brookstone, maybe a little bit less than that, but it is still relatively heavy, especially with that 2,600 pounds worth of pin weight. But towed it no problem. I can tell you that the rig with the trailer looks absolutely fantastic. It really, really is a beautiful setup. I love the color. The gray, such a good choice. At least I think so. I love the new logo. Gen Y hitch, you can see the camera I had mounted down there. Just a really, really good towing experience. The hydraulic jacks. These kind of worked their way towards the back, at least some of them did, because they just slide on there. So kind of expect that to happen. This is just a beast of a trailer. The LED lights looked gorgeous last night when we were towing this thing to the hotel. The mammoth ramps off of the back. Man, this is just really, really nice. And some of the things that I discovered that they're doing a little bit different. So in the past, like when we first started collaborating back in like 2020, 2019, something like that. It's been a while, about 8 years. I don't believe they used primer under the paint. I believe they painted onto the steel, but that's actually an improvement they've made. And they've been doing that for a while now. So if you've had a trailer for the last couple of years at least, you're going to get a trailer that's been sandblasted, primed, and then painted. And the reason why I prefer paint over powder coat, which some people may not realize, is that paint is repairable. Paint is one of those things that if you scuff any part of this, you can literally sand it down, reprime, and repaint it. When it's powder coat, because it's a layer and that layer hardens as it starts to peel, because we all know that powder coat will eventually start to peel. Yes, it's a durable finish whenever it's in its, brand new state and it looks really nice and it looks like it's just been applied. But the minute it starts to peel, typically because rust might form underneath it, it happens even on stuff that's primered. What people don't realize is you can't just paint over that. It's going to continuously peel, or it's going to really, really eventually turn into something ugly and nasty, and you're going to get rust building underneath the powder coat. So a lot of folks don't realize that a big benefit to using paint over powder coat, again, is the fact that paint is easily repairable. You can sand it, you can fix it by spraying over it. But powder coat, you can't do that. You might think that you're doing that. You might think that, yeah, well, I just have a can of spray paint, I'm going to just spray over the powder coat. But all you're essentially doing is covering up a spot, but still allowing the powder coat to lift. There's really no way to do a true powder coat repair unless you remove all of it and repowder coat the product. That is a big reason why I prefer paint. I really wish actually RV manufacturers would paint their frames. In some cases they e-coat, which e-coat is a really good process as well. But I actually really like this painted process. Anyways, guys, I'd love to know your feedback. Drop a comment below. What do you guys think of the new trailer? This thing is an absolute beast. I got some toys, like my excavator over there. I have a lot of equipment inside of there, and it's going to be really interesting to put this thing to use for the first time, get all the straps in place, get my binders transferred over from my Gooseneck trailer, the tilt deck trailer, because I will be selling that trailer. I already have a few people who have made me some really good offers on it, so it will not be here for too much longer. But this is the perfect replacement for that trailer. Anyways, guys, I'll drop a link in the description of this video if this is something you're interested in. If you want to learn more about Texas Pride, what they're doing, they have a great sales staff. You can call them up and just ask them anything you want to ask them. They're not just going to try to sell you a trailer to sell you a trailer. They're going to want to know what you're going to use it for. And in some cases, they may not be the right brand for you. You may want to go with a different type of trailer because it accomplishes something different for your business or for you personally. And the fact is, I mean, you got a lot of choices out there. This is just a really good choice in my opinion. Again, I will put a link to the Gen Y Spartan hitch as well. My channel sponsor carries that. But what do you guys think? This thing is an absolute beast. Love that hutch suspension. That is really cool, and it's the first trailer I've ever owned with that type of suspension on it. I am not looking forward to the day where I have to service the hubs. I'm not looking forward to a day where I have to get to the inner dually. These are things that I'm going to have to start dealing with. I'm used to it on the 450, but never on a trailer where you have to remove this entire wheel assembly to get to the brakes or to get to any type of maintenance or to swap a tire out if you have to. So not looking forward to any of that stuff. Hopefully I don't experience a blowout or any problems like that. Knock on wood. But yep, super excited to get this thing to work and see what it's all about. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.